Hi. Today's class, we're going to be working on beginner inversions, Sirsasana, headstand. We'll do some others that are requiring you to have arm strength. So we'll do a little preparation building up to that. And then I'll show you different ways that you can approach headstand. So let's get started. Before we start our practice, I wanted to let you know about my online programs and workshops. Whether you're new to Iyengar yoga and want to learn the basics in a systematic way, a seasoned practitioner looking to revisit the essentials, or a yoga teacher seeking inspiration. These programs and workshops are self-paced, allowing you to make consistent progress and revisit specific topics whenever you like. You can find the link in the description below. With that said, let's begin our practice today. I have a bolster here, so first just come up. We're going to go into downward facing dog. So bring your hands to the front of the mat. Be at the beginning of the bolster. And then come onto the toes, walk the feet back. Lift the heels. Press the hands down. As you press the hand down, lift the wrist up away from the floor, connecting with the forearm, the elbows, upper arms lengthening. And as you do that, as you press down more, lengthen up through the arms, let the head come down. Keep pressing into the mounds of the toes. Press the inner mounds, lift the inner leg, press the outer hips down toward the outer mounds, and then begin to roll over the mounds of the toes, bringing the heels toward the floor, frontal thighs moving back. Adjust your head, so just your forehead is there. Keep the thighs moving back, but maintain that connection of the hands up through the upper arm into the shoulders. So the shoulders are lifting up away from the floor, from the tops of the shoulders near the nape of the neck and across the shoulder blades, moving down towards your hips or up towards your hips. And then come up and come into plank and just be there. You maybe walk your toes away a little bit. So you're pressing down into the hands, keep the arms lifted, and then bring your hips, thighs onto that bolster. Walk your toes back a little bit. And then you're going to bend your elbows, come into a Chaturanga, completely supported Chaturanga. Press all the fingers down, chest is on the bolster. Shoulders now lift up away from the floor. And from the shoulder connection to the elbow, lengthen back so the shoulders are moving away from the end of your mat here. So they're not lifting up, they're moving away. Be aware of that connection from the shoulders to the elbows and the skin at the top of the upper back, shoulder blades moving towards your heels. And now coming back, you're going to lift the chest, press into the hands, tailbone pressing into the bolster, press the hands down, lift the chest, thighs lifting, coming into upward dog. So from the anterior spine, the pubic bone to the navel, navel to the chest, keep extending back through the heels, back ribs in, shoulders moving away from the back of the head. And then again, come into that plank position, thighs lifting, press the arms down, and then come back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Come onto the toes again, press the arms, lift up, and extend the legs back. Frontal thighs moving back. We'll do that one more time. So come again into that plank pose. When you go into headstand, you need to know how to do chaturanga. So this upper arm, upper body strength is important, this connection. Bend the elbows, coming down. Shoulders to the elbows, moving away. And then coming into upward dog. Move the middle buttocks down. This time take your front of your feet on the floor. Keep the thighs lifting, inner thighs lifting. Tailbone moving down. Press down into the hands, lift up through the chest. Shoulder blades moving down. Turn the toes under and then come back up. Plank pose. Downward dog. And then walk in. Take your feet on either side of the bolster. You can move the bolster away. I'll move it over here. Be on the fingertips. Come onto the toes. Hold the toes, look up. So you can feel the skin of the tops of the shoulders moving away. Feel the shoulder blades moving into the body. Keep the legs firm. And pulling the toes up, keep the arms firm. So that firmness in the arms all the way from the hands up through the upper arm. And now we're just going to do a little bit for our wrist here. So we're always bending the wrist this way. And now we're going to bend it even more. Walk your toes up on the mounds of the thumbs. Pressing down there. Lift the wrist up. Lift the arm. Keep that firmness in the arms. Look forward. Shoulder blades moving toward the chest. From the wrists lifting up through the arms. Move your shoulders away from the floor. And then bring the hands onto the floor. Press down. Hands on your hips. Inhale, come up. Okay, so now we're going to go to the wall. You're going to take your forearms to the wall and have your forearms so that you're on the outer wrist. So this upper wrist is perpendicular to this lower wrist. So I'm going to press the wrist into the wall and that sharp edge, the bone of the forearm. First, you can start a little closer to the wall, palms facing one another. Press that wrist, press the forearm, and then from the elbow to the shoulders, move the shoulders away from the wall. Opening that armpit chest. Feel that upper back, shoulder blade, and dorsal spine moving into the body toward the floor. Thighs back, frontal thighs back. And then come up. Now we're going to cross the hands like we do in Sirsasana. So in Sirsasana, we interlace the fingers. All the fingers come in towards one another. Little finger side of the hand is a little bit looser, but these are firm. So as I pull, nothing happens. They don't come apart. And then I'm going to take my hands at the wall, thumbs together, so there's space here between the wrists. The wrist is not together. The wrist is moving apart. And I'm coming onto that lower wrist, like I did before. Press the wrist, press the forearms, and then with that, pressing back, come down so that you can lengthen back like you were going into Ardha Uttanasana, half Uttanasana. So you're pressing your arms, you're pressing your hands as if they were in headstand. Your head's not in the hands, but your head, if you came up, these hands would be right at the back of the head. So here's the rounded part of the head. Interlacing the fingers. Your whole hand is around the back of the head, like this. So there's the head is in that cave space there at the back of the hand. So bringing your hands again to the wall, press the wrist, press the forearm, look forward, move that upper dorsal spine into the body. Press the elbows, lengthen through from the elbow to the armpit chest, move the shoulders down. Just looking forward. Okay, so just feeling what that wrist feels like to be there on the floor. So you're pressing down. Okay, now we're going to go onto the floor with that same emphasis. So you're coming down, interlacing your fingers, be on the little finger side of the hand and that wrist that you were just pressing into the wall. Press that down and have your elbows right underneath your shoulders. So you're starting out with the arms shoulder width apart, and then you're going to move your feet back and balance on your arms. So press down onto the arms, lift up. So just be there. Keep the thighs lifting. And then come up. Do it a couple times. Keep the pressure on the arms, outer wrists, and up. Walk the feet in. Press the arms down. Look forward. Bring the weight over the arms. Coming back. And again. Keep the weight there. And lift up. So as your elbows press down, your upper arm is lifting up. Okay. Now you're going to come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. We're going to go into Chaturanga. I have my belt here. If you don't have a belt, just watch or go get your belt. So you're first coming into downward dog. Lifting up. And then you'll come forward and move your chest down. Elbows are moving back. So you've created a little bit of a harness for yourself. Hips moving down, thighs lifting, extend through the heels, looking forward. And then come into that plank position. And then come back into downward dog. So if you know how to do Chaturanga, it's okay. But what happens normally is the chest either falls to the floor or lifts up like upward dog. So here, you're bending your elbows and you're pressing your hands and you're coming down. Extend your heels. And then come back up, plank pose, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so you can either keep the strap again or take the strap away. We'll go into Chaturanga without the strap. So the reason I'm spending time on this is it's important that you can have that engagement from the arms to the shoulders and get that lift to the chest for a headstand. So to really practice your Chaturanga is going to be important. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then coming to plank. Keep the arms firm. Bend the elbows close to the side of the body. Move the chest down. Keep extending through the legs. Keep the thighs lifted. And then come up. Back to downward dog. Do it one more time. So coming forward, plank pose. Lowering yourself down as if you still had that harness. Keep the thighs lifted. Press the hands down, shoulders away from the floor, buttock down. And then you can bring your knees onto the floor, turn your toes under, come into that upward dog we did earlier on the bolster. Lift the knees up, and then turn the toes. Come back up. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Walk in. Uttanasana. Concave the back, either fingers on the floor or hands on the ankles in a concave back position, so you're not falling forward, you're lengthening. Tension on your upper back, that dorsal spine. All right, and then come up. So now I think we'll take a chair. We're going to use the chair to go up into headstand. as a preparation. Okay, so you'll take your chair and you'll turn it upside down. So I have the legs at the wall. Here's the chair back here, and I've moved it away. You can see it move down a little bit, so make sure that it's very stable. Okay, the mat we'll use later. I'm going to use this chair to feel the upper back. So that same movement we got in Chaturanga and upward dog, same awareness. You're not going to be doing a back bend, but you have your awareness on that upper back, the shoulder. Okay, so we'll use this chair to feel that. Now, we're going to go into that hand position where we interlace the fingers, squeeze the fingers together, open through the palms, thumbs towards each other, on the outer wrist, on the forearm, and then you'll bring the crown of the head there. Okay, we're going to do this underneath the chair, so bring your elbows in. Come on to the crown of the head. Lengthen the end of the hand away from the wrist, so you make space there. Have the back of the head right in the fingers, in the palm, and then come up and start to walk in. There you can feel the shoulders, so they need to be lifted and they need to be moving toward the armpit area. You're pressing down into the forearms. You're keeping that wrist on the floor. Thighs moving back. So even though this is not a standing pose, it's an upside down standing pose, so you want to make sure that the legs are active. When you go upside down on your head, legs have to be working. So from the balls of the feet, I'm lifting up through the heels. And then here, let's just bring the feet together now. So from the center, press down into the left foot and raise the right leg up. So press into the mounds, keep that frontal thigh moving toward the space in the center of the room. Keep extending through the mounds of the toes. Press the arms down. And then take that foot down. So keeping the legs active. When you go up, you'll be bringing your toes together, touching, the inner legs touching. So here, I'm lifting, pressing the mounds and lifting up. And then come down. And then just rest. So we're not going to use the chair to go up. We're going to take the chair and use it as height for our feet. So bring the chair back, and then I'll have one blanket. Make sure your mat is all the way up to the wall. I've taken my other mat away. I'm bringing the blanket onto the mat. So that will give your arms a little cushioning, your head a little cushioning. And then I like to bring the mat back. So in case your arms are on the blanket and you're sweating, or you don't have that strength in the arms, then your elbows may move out. So earlier we did all the poses with the elbows underneath the shoulders. Here, same thing. I'm going to bring the chair a little bit away, far enough away that I can get in there and bring my hands to the wall. So I'm going to bring the hands to the wall. And before that I do that, I just want to bring your attention to one more thing. So when you bring your arms in like this, you separate the wrists and you have the hands at the back of the head. Why don't you do that right now? So interlace your fingers, take your hands to the back of the head. So it fits in there nicely, that rounded part. Press into the heel of the hand. And then bring the elbows in towards one another. So your elbows are over or in line with the shoulders. And then press up. Press the upper arm up as if you're pressing it up toward the ceiling, and at the same time descend the shoulders. So that same feeling that we had on the upper back earlier, you're able to then, as you lift the forearm, bring the awareness to that upper back and bring it in. Okay? When you're doing this, if you didn't have the mat, if you didn't have the blanket, you would just, let's say you were just on the blanket, your elbows started to go. So you have to keep that firmness on the outer arms. So the outer arms moving towards one another. Some people will use a belt, but if you fall and you don't have the stability, then you're in a belt and that could be dangerous. So just learn to use the outer arms, that firmness of the outer arms to press in. Okay? So now we're going to go down onto the mat. Bring the hands down. I'd have to move the chair back a little bit. Press down. Make the space for the head. Be right on the crown. Bring the elbows in. Keep that firmness on the outer arms. And then come back up into that half dog. Adjust your head. So press the forearms down and just lift your head up like you did in Chaturanga, like you did in that Virasana preparation. Press the arms down, be on the wrists, be on the forearm, lift the shoulders. And then just bring one leg up. Keep lifting that leg, and you feel how you get lightness when you do that. Press the arms down, lift the leg, and then change. Watch out for your chair. Press up into the mounds of the toes. Press the elbows down. And then come down. Right now, you're going to take your toes on the chair. I meant to put the green mat here, but I didn't. So just making sure you don't slide on the chair. Press into the mounds and lift your thighs up. So as you lift your thighs up, press your elbows, your forearms down, and lengthen from the elbow right up to the armpit area. Keep the frontal thighs, part of the thigh that's facing the floor, lift up through the hips. Now keep that awareness in the toes, lift one leg. Stay with your base. Stay with the hands, the wrists, the forearm, elbows, lift up through the arms. And then change. Lifting up. And then bring the leg down. Okay, I had a mat ready, but I forgot to put it on there. So you can have the mat on the chair so that once you bring the feet onto the chair, your foot doesn't slide. Now my foot didn't slide because I know what I'm doing. I stayed on the mounds of the toes and I lifted up. Okay, you could also have this chair on a mat. I wanted to fold the mat over, so I didn't do that. Okay, so now we're going to go into Sirsasana at the wall. Okay, so you're going to bring your, you can use the chair again, like we just did, and bring one leg up and then the other leg to the wall. Okay, we'll do both ways. We'll do using the chair, and then we'll do without the chair. Be on the crown of the head. Press the wrists, the forearms, centralize that weight across the left and the right. Come up. Bringing the toes onto the chair. Slide the chair in and bring the hips to the wall. So come all the way to the wall with the hips. So I didn't have it on a mat so I could slide the chair. I brought the chair in, and then from there, press the arms down, lift one leg, and then lift the other leg. Middle buttocks, tailbone moving toward the pubic bone, frontal thighs moving toward the wall. Keep your legs apart right now. Come back to the base, arms moving down, side trunk lifting. Lift up through the outer hips to the outer heels. Be right on the crown of the head. And now turn the toes. Bring the big toes together, roll the thighs back. Feel your tailbone there. Lift the buttocks up toward the heels. Keep that roll of the thigh. And then turn the toes, toes facing one another. Lift up. Pressing the arms down, lift the shoulders. Now to come down, you can bend one knee, bring a foot down onto that chair, and then slide the chair away. Come down and bring your head onto the floor. And then come up. I'll show you the other way without the chair. So we've been doing a lot of work with the legs, lifting up. So again, you'll come into that same position. Head down. Elbows in line. Keep that outer arm pressing in. Come onto your toes, the mounds of your toes, and start to walk in. Move yourself back by rolling on the toes. And then bring one leg up. Reach up. Be on the toes. So you're moving from the toes and lifting the leg. And then other leg. Moving from the toes, lifting the legs up. And then come down. Change the cross on the fingers. So here I had the right index finger on top. Now I'm changing to have the left. So that makes a difference in your shoulder, in your neck. So making sure when you're practicing that you do make that adjustment. If you practice one way one day, then you practice the other way the next day. Adjust your shoulders. Coming up. Hips are lifting. Lift one leg. And take the other leg up. Come back to the first leg. And then I want you to press so much with the toes that it lifts the other leg up. Come in. So the foot is off the floor. The other leg is at the wall. Lift the leg up. Bring the feet together. First, I want you to flex the foot, extend up through the heel, broaden through the foot, little toe side of the foot coming down. Press the forearms down, press the elbows. Armpit, chest facing toward the center of your room. Feel the shoulder blades lifting. Thighs moving back toward the wall. Move the buttock away from the wall. Paying attention to your breath. To come down, keep one leg lifted and bring the other leg down. Come onto the toes and come forward. Come into forward Virasana. Widen through the knees. Move your hips back towards your heels. Extend your arms. Let your head be supported. And then you're going to come up and stand in Padangusthasana. So have your feet hips width apart. Take hold of your toes. If you can't reach the toes, then have a strap. Lengthen. Move the frontal thigh back. Extend forward. And then release the head down. Pulling with the fingers on the toes. Release the upper back. Release the head. Release the neck. Let the head hang. Bring more weight onto the front of the foot. Press the heel down. Keep the legs firm. So the legs are active. The arms are merely helping you to get that extension and that length through the head and through the neck and the upper back. And then you're going to come up. And now take your mat back and take your blanket away. We're just going to come to the wall with legs up the wall. Okay, so you'll just come into a relaxed position. Your hip at the wall, bringing it in, and then bring the legs up the wall. Roll your shoulders under. Allow that broadness to come across the upper back, the shoulders, and then just bring the legs up. If you have a strap and you'd like to use your strap, you can just bring that strap onto the calves. So don't have it too wide of a loop. And then bring the feet into that strap. Bring your calves in towards one another. And then, as if the leg were one leg, just allow the leg to drop down into the pelvis. And then you'll bring your arms out to the side with that rotation of the arms, shoulders moving down, upper back completely relaxed, your head on the floor, lengthen the back of the neck. And if you have any tightness at all in your shoulders, in your head, in your neck, you can have that blanket behind your head for a little bit extra support. So your arms are about 20 degrees away from your side of your trunk without touching any other props around you. Just allow yourself to relax completely. Relaxing your fingers, your hands, your forearm, your wrist. Relax the wrist, the elbows, upper arms. And let the head release completely. So making sure, I thought I could feel something. So if you feel anything that doesn't feel quite right, lift up, take it away. So when we're going into Savasana, we're withdrawing the senses, but our senses are very heightened at this point. So aware of what you feel, be willing to make any adjustment, and then once you do, just settle in and be there. Sometimes I take a bolster and bring it onto the feet, or a sandbag, which has got more weight, or a few blocks. So just allow the legs that you don't have to do anything to right now because they're being held by the strap. Let the full weight of the legs draw down into the pelvis and begin to feel the relaxed breath in the abdomen. Feeling the back ribs on the floor, spread the back ribs from the center to the left and to the right, across the upper back, across the front chest. Taking time for Shavasana. I'll set a timer for you, so stay and just enjoy the benefits of your practice today. Namaste.